Greetings and welcome to the testing lab. Yes, we're in the testing lab. I have decided to go against what I've said and actually start optimizing my ships, because otherwise we're going to spend another 15-30 episodes just trying to get this crap running. I will get this working or I will get this dead. So a lot of people have said your ships are a little bit useless / rubbish. And yeah, they are, because I've mostly been using them in the field of battle. They don't survive battle, they don't get sent to the next run, as it were. That's just how it's been done. So obviously we've been working a little bit more on that to make these things better off. Outside of that, a lot of people have said, why aren't you just making 2 or 3 super ships? Mostly because this is a big one. Super ships, everyone's done them. Every YouTuber I know has done a super ship, so there's no real point also doing a super ship because, you know, they're everywhere. So that's why I haven't done super ships. If you're not a big fan of that, there's plenty of other YouTubers who've probably done super ships and done them better. Now, for those who want like the RTS style and the fleet style, this is me. Hello. Now, the big issue I have with my forces right now is, of course, they're not the best. And that's a big meh. They are literally not the best. It's a shame, but it is what it is. Is it a big shame? It's a bit of a big shame, if I'm honest. But, you know, we can work with it. That's the big one. We can, of course, work with it. Now, the biggest problem I've got is my tanker isn't tanky. Another big problem we've got is my side ships aren't sidey. What does that mean? Basically, it means that when I deploy my side ships, they don't really do much in the way of useful. And that is sadly true. They are just not useful. So how do I solve that issue? The big thing is I need more missiles. The next big thing is I need to specialise my ships. Now that's not too big an issue, to be fair. Specialising my ships and my stuff is literally not too big an issue. It's just, it is what it is. What am I doing? Yeah, not too big a problem at all. Do we have issues with that? No, not really. So what we need to do is figure out why my side ships are so rubbish and why my side ships need a lot of help. And that will of course be with this. So I'm going to quickly mock up something here. Maybe get rid of the big laser beams. And we're going to see how well this ship then compares to the older run. So give me a second. So if any change, you need to make sure it works. This ship now has 4 big cannons and 2 big lasers. Will that make it effective in battle? That's difficult to say. Because obviously we've been having a few issues with certain ships, which are, I think, in the monolith section. So we need to try against them. And obviously the Ballistara, 100 crew. Really? That's the big issue we've been going against. This ship has been quite effectively decimating me. Oh, yes, it's the older design, so somebody's still not the best. So obviously I need to make sure this thing works. And that means... oh, this is the wrong ship. As you can see, with the cannons and stuff, it's now significantly more effective. It's still taking major hits, but now this ship alone has some significantly powerful firepower. So this makes our... well, it makes our main ship no longer really an anvil, isn't it? It's like more of a massive, massive cannon. But it works. So what we do now is make sure that this ship keeps fighting. And obviously that requires more armour, more everything. The more everything I have, the better it is. And obviously that requires a bit more time, a bit more effort. Is that effort good? Kind of not. It's one of those difficult ones. It is one of those difficult ones. Also, the problem that we have now is there's a lot of crew. As you know, I don't go by price, I go by the amount of crew being used. This thing is now significantly too much. Like, majorly too much. Which is a bit of a problem if I'm having, you know, certain issues going on. Now, let's go by crew, high. Where am I fighting? The Bally? Where's the Ballistara? The Ballistraria is only 100? The Ballista? Okay, let me just quickly go through and find something that I've been fighting. Because obviously a lot of these ships are... there it is, the Auditor. So how many crews does this thing actually have? 230. So this is a 230 crew. This is the thing with loads of flak. It's really quite vicious. Insanely quite vicious. And that's obviously a bit of an issue. Now, another thing we're having problems with is these guys. These guys are just not useful. So the grand scheme of this is, people are saying we should probably get rid of this. We could get rid of the deck cannon, I guess. Get rid of that. What we really need is better side thrusters. Better side thrusters would be great, but you need them to be spaced in a certain way. If they're not spaced right, what you get is your ship just sort of just does nothing. So I have these two here, and then I can two more at the back. That means it's a bit more powerful, but again, it now means I now need different things. Like, it still says 24 people because it's an older design. But what's the weaponry is this thing going to hold? Okay, you guys just need to do something. And that's another thing. It's meant to be able to get to the side of ships. Is this thing even useful? It still goes straight for the... There's the side bit gone. Took out the front though. This ship is significantly more vicious than it was. Still takes a lot of damage. But now it goes toe to toe. There we go. So yeah, we have more viciousness in our anvil. Can you do really good going around the side? How are you for side thrustering? You see this going side is now a lot faster. There we go. See that 30 around the flank? That makes this a perfect flanking ship. Now how the hell are we going to use it against this? Because obviously the anvil still needs a bit more work. I'm beginning to think. I was thinking nukes. Some people have mentioned nukes on the front. I have nuclear bombers for that. They are being brought into the field. Oh, look at this crew trying to get in. Oh, they're my crew, aren't they? No, they're this crew. But yeah, see, this is significantly better. Shielding stuff needs to work, but I'm thinking of a go like this, 2 big lasers, 4 big cannons. This gives us hope for this ship to actually be powerful on its own. Which is great. There we go. So now to work on this. But yeah, with how it is, as you can see, this is super fast. So what I'm thinking, and this is a big think, what it needs to be is side lasers. We've been doing this before. Heavy lasers on the side are quite powerful. Quite powerful. So have these things being kept powered. Some of you please power them. There we go. Okay, so let's just try that now. Okay, you guys all should not be here. You are test area, so you repair. Go to the field. And let's put another one down. Only don't steal my nuclear bombers. The nuclear bombers, I actually love to design. They are very effective, very fast. As you can see, they are super good, the bomber craft. They will be making an appearance. See that speed? Extremely basic design, they get me through the first way. Okay, you repair. Rearm, restock. Drop another one down. Arbitrator, wasn't it? No. What was it called? I've already lost the name. So let's go and start testing a couple of these new designs. Faster sides, faster forwards. They're meant to be much more powerful. Let's see if it actually is. So again, the problem with all these ships is, of course, you know, what are they designed for? This was now designed for firepower in the flank. Obviously the cannon was much better, but without it, they can move a lot faster. See, that's 4 main guns, which you can fire to any one place. It's able to keep at the rear of the enemy. If actually keep, you know, the crew doing their jobs. Right now they're not. That requires a bit more, you know, rolls going on. That's fine. But there you go. This is now keeping to where it needs to be. And as you can see by the speed, it's able to do it quite fast. Obviously this ship is still requiring a bit more help, but that's a different matter entirely. The flanking ship is now flanking significantly better. Look at the speed it's going around side rate. It goes faster than the main guns. So the flanking ship is now good. Obviously a couple of these were able to keep position. Obviously I've still got to keep an eye on where they are, but they do keep position. Unfortunately, because of what they are, I've had to remove most of the point defence. So they're very low on point defence ships. But they can hold where they are, and they can keep to the target. When the ship starts turning, as you can see, they can keep to where they need to be. So this ship is currently the optimal frigate flanking ship. I can obviously even remove some of the crew, because there's like 5, 6 people doing nothing, so this brings it down to a 20-man crew. Now, of course, it's using lasers, which aren't the best at actually piercing targets. But that's fine. 2 of these will be able to do quite well. So the Mark 9 is going to be tested with a couple of these things and see how well it does. Another thing I need to do is actually have good point defense ships. Now, right now, this is obviously a good support platform, so I've just put a lot of point defense on the side of it. But we'll see how well it goes. Now, these guys, we're going to have a quick test. This guy is going to straight up start spinning around. He's not going to survive too long because what I've just spawned is insane. There we go. We've got a point defense ship currently hanging out just here. So these are just going to go straight round. But as you can see, they're actually doing pretty well. They keep positioning, they keep firing. They even try their best to keep up. They're actually doing a pretty good job of it. See that? They're not too far out of position. Obviously this one is, because that's insane to try and keep up. But they are doing pretty well. And it also proves, again, my Anvil needs a lot more armour and probably better shield positioning. But the support ships now can keep up. Although the problem they now have is they just don't have the firepower. For me to have the firepower, I'd have to add a bigger weapon, which means a bigger cockpit, which starts hitting the rule of crew I have. But they are significantly better at flanking, as you can see. It also means they're better at pinpoint murder strikes, because they can hold their position better and keep firing, as you can see. In fact, if I turn this to be like this, there we go. So yeah, better at pinpoint striking. See, they're actually keeping up. It's not the best at keeping up, but they are in fact keeping up. God, they're doing like 30 to 40 on the turn. So to have these ships be combat effective, I need 2 large thrusters here and here. Which is of course a lot, but they don't have the firepower on the front anymore. Now I could give them the laser back. If you remember, there used to be a laser. That would be the most powerful laser because it's a small world after all. It'd be like, 6. So to get that, I have to get rid of these 2 here, which would give me 8. I mean, I guess that's okay, but again, it wouldn't give me much firepower. And the beam does not target very fast. At best, I could make it a drill ship. But we now have better support ships. Maybe these could be better as disruptors? I could disrupt engines and things. It wouldn't do much damage, but it would disrupt them. But you don't really need disruptors when you're in the rear of a ship, for the simple reason that it's mostly engines. So that's useless to me. So the ship is better, but this is not. But what I could do, very importantly, is have nukes. Nukes, of course, are pretty powerful. Now, how I've built my nuclear ships is literally 1 nuke with enough to fire 7. 1 launcher straight in. They are designed fully to flank and strike. Nukes, for those who don't know, fire once, fire again. They do an initial burst out the launcher, like that, and then when they get target, they just boost into one direction. So they do not turn, as you can see there. So if they miss initial target, they have missed initial target. So nukes are either, face punching or some kind of flank. That's how they're used. They also require, this is very important, 12 pieces of nuclear material to build. So you see this? These are in stacks of 10, which means you have issues firing them, which means you need a lot of supply or a bigger ship, which is why these little nuclear bombers only can have 7. 1 in the chamber, 6 in storage. But they are pretty powerful, as you can see. They're doing quite serious damage. But yeah, nukes on the main ship would be great. I'd need some better shielding for that. And of course, ships like this would shoot it down. That is 6 point defences, basically. But there we are. So the big thing I need to do is have more missiles. That's already dead. So the flanking ships are great. Maybe the flanking ships with a nuke would be better. A nuclear capable flanking ship would be significantly useful. because we're fighting again on Grand Admiral, which means the enemy takes a lot less damage. Which means even this wing, as you can see, all the shots, one missed, still barely damaged it. Now you can of course target better, this is just rubbish targeting, but maybe nukes are the way forward. So can I build a better nuclear capable ship? Let's find out. So any nuclear capable support ship I have has to go through a certain set. Like see this, the nukes are a little bit meh, I can move them probably a bit further down, but it's now dual nuclear capable. And has enough fire for enough shots. So what will happen is, pump out, boop boop, miss miss, but of course because it can stay in position better, it can track where the enemy is. And nukes in the rear are significantly powerful, like super powerful. It's insane how powerful nukes in the rear are. They're probably going to get nerfed at some point. As a demonstration, here we go. 1, 2. Entire sections are being slowly stripped off. And as you can see, the ships are able to keep in. The main ship's still alive, surprisingly. Very weirdly surprisingly. But the nukes, when they hit, there we go, 1, 2, completely decimating the rear, very little of it left. There we go, the ship is now dead. So nuclear capable bombers are actually a major thing. Nuclear capable strike craft are also a major thing. See this is quite vicious. The main ship is still quite significantly alive, which is even more surprising. So I'm thinking cannons on the main anvil. I'll have to remove the materials around. This is what we're currently looking at. The Warmonger 30, probably the 32 now, is now going to be going with the 4 big cannons. The battleships are going to be supporting it, and these 2 Inferniums will be working with the other one. So we'll have some lasers and nuclear capables. The nuclear capables, of course, as you see, are going to be a strike craft. Or I can just have nuclear bombers. I'm honestly debating just having some multiple nuclear bombers. But this is the design style we've now stuck with. These things can keep up in the rear with the gear. Obviously they're not as fast because they haven't got the 2 huge thrusters, but it is what it is. See, a big one of these is 8. I could get rid of this and still have one of these. It'd be weird, but I can still do it. In fact, it'd probably be quite effective. But again, it'd be a bit of a weirder one. So we're going to see what you guys think. It's one of those, here's me building stuff. So if we go back to what it was, we end up getting this ship, which is a lot better at turning and still has the big front cannon, as you can see. So this means it can get behind the enemy and also fire. And because of how it works, it doesn't really matter if anything EMPs it. Just thinking, there we go, invulnerable. So it just needs to get closer. The big issue it now has, of course, is the rear thrusters. So the rear thrusters, what is it, 444? What are these? 444. So 2 huge thrusters are 8. So what, that's 12. So to actually get these down, I'd need more command. So to do that, I would again have to remove that, which is, of course, an issue. It's a big issue. Because now it doesn't have any point defense, it's back down to just being straight up a big gun. But it does mean it can keep up with targets. And that's the big thing, it needs the big rear engines to keep up with targets. There we go. So this is probably going to be where it needs to be. The other ship, well, good with the lasers, isn't useful at what it does. But if I go for the big cannon ships, they are literally just cannon ships. All the thrusters means it's really quite powerful, really quite useful, but it can't do anything else. I literally can't do anything else. I have to put a second cockpit on it. Now I could do a dual cockpit system, like that, but that would be a bit odd. Like, what do you think? Do you like the dual cockpit system? Go do that. It's now dual cockpit, and now I have even more things. Like, it's now a 22-man crew, but now I get like point defense. What do you think? Do you like dual cockpits? It makes it look a bit odd, if I'm honest. I guess it works. But yeah, we now only have, like, see, 6 people manning. See, so we have 6 people doing this, and now 2 of them are now doing this. We have 14, 16 people manning that, but it works a lot better. And the point defense is quite good too. But outside of that, it is what it is. So, what else do we need to do? Well, first of all, now I've just noticed, is fix this. There we go. I should now power this up. Missile just hit me. We're still firing. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So yeah, point defense is now highly active on this thing. It looks a bit odd because it needs more crew. I'm not entirely sure I'm a fan of the dual cockpit. That'll be entirely up to you guys to decide. But this is going to be our support ship. Several of these running will actively man our fleets. They are significantly more effective than previously because they can keep up with where the enemy is and what the enemy is doing. Again, I'm a bit meh if it's expensive, but I do it based on the crew. So the Infernium Mark 9, I guess, will be this thing. As you can see, it's doing okay. Still using a lot of resources. The point defense is pretty effective. This ship, I just turned it invulnerable to give it a test. And I think it's going okay. So just delete that. One more test. The test is quite simple. This is a big ship. Can I fight the big ship only with the Inferniums? The actual main ship I've got is invulnerable. It won't die. But it's not going to be firing either. If anything, let's just straight up turn it off. There we go. So it won't be doing anything apart from sitting there and doing a flanky thing. So I'm going to force it to turn. Can these ships actually effectively support? They have point defense. They have big cannons. Can they help out? Or are we a little bit screwed? This is the final test. If these are effective at what they do, this is good. And that's what we're after. Can these annoy enemy ships? And the answer is yes. As you can see, they're keeping up. They're actually flanking pretty well. They're sticking in position. They're staying there. They're doing significant damage. They're not ramming each other. So the Mark 9 too appears to be what I'd like to call a success. The crew might need to be a little bit more inside of it. That is fine. That's officially a success. So the Mark 9 2 is going to be supporting our ships. We're bringing in the nuclear bombers. The actual warmonger is getting the cannons. I will work on that a little bit more. But this is what we're doing, getting things working. I mean, I've been the fallen shogun. Let's get our murder on. The Mark 9 is prepared, and I can't believe it went straight back to cannons. Tell me what you think. Seriously, tell me what you think, because the next one we're just going straight into war.